back, day 14. So the next few are all in a similar sort of area because this was part of a holiday that we took in June. So by this point, I was recovered. So I was, long COVID no more, I am good. But I was, at a point where I could do things, but I was having to think like an unfit, healthy person. And this was a massive shift because I'd spent so long sort of seeing myself as a fit person and then trying to get myself away from thinking of myself as a fit person and thinking of myself as a sick person. And then, obviously as I was ill for a while, my fitness just kind of like dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped as I was able to, had to do less and less and less and less and less. So, I had been increasing my activity over the last, the previous couple of months as things had been improving. But now I was like, right, let's go for it. Let's do all the things. And then it was like, actually, no, I can't just snap my fingers and suddenly be the person that I was before I got ill. I have to now go through this process of building back up, building life back up, building up stamina for, physical activity, but also for other things. So this holiday was a sort of opportunity to sort of do more and start to sort of, stretch that a little bit. But the week that we chose to go away was the sort of heat wave that we had in June this year. And we had, 4 or 5 days of like 27 degrees. And like, when you're unfit and you're trying to hike in that, it was like, it was kind of like a double whammy of like, okay, we have to reduce what we were planning to do, or hoping to do. So we did still do quite a lot of stuff and it was still amazing. But I guess it was just another kind of, well, we had these plans and that was great, but the situation is suggesting otherwise. So let's be sensible here. And I think that's, that was good because me of 4 years ago would have been like, well, we had these plans, we do these plans. And I would have, absolutely thwacked my body through all of that heat and ended up feeling pretty whacked afterwards, which just isn't particularly healthy. So this walk here, we went, we had a plan to go further than we did. And I just got part of the way and I was like, should we just make this a shorter walk, because it was so hot. So we had a beautiful walk through some woodlands up to some mines, dropped back down and found this amazing swimming hole in the river. So the river had sort of, it was a little higher up and it had some waterfalls and things, but we couldn't really get into them very easily. But as we got further down, it got a bit wider, a bit slower moving, and there was this amazing kind of like bit where it suddenly got deeper and there was this big pool. So we sort of got into that and the views were just awesome. You could see some of the hills behind. And I think for me, when I was unwell, I didn't like going to places that reminded me of the things that I couldn't do anymore. I found that really difficult. And I think the difference was, as I started seeing improvement, that actually those hills didn't feel quite so far away because things were improving. But also I was much more grateful for the things that I could now do, even though they were, not the things that I maybe wanted to be doing. And I think, this point here, I was recovered, I was unfit. So, those hills, I couldn't get up all of them. I was starting to be able to do more, but, I still couldn't do all the things that I wanted to be able to do because, I needed to increase my fitness. But I think the difference here was that was something that I could do now. I was kind of almost like excited that I was unfit because it gave me something to work at and it gave me something to aim for. And it was just a completely different mindset of kind of like, okay, I'm healthy but unfit. It was something that I just kind of like hadn't really experienced. So yeah, this was wonderful. This was a kind of me listening to my body, which was a good thing. And, just finding so much joy in something much simpler. The hills will be there another day. We'll get up there. It's just not today, but it's now a thing that I see as possible. So I think that was the difference for me.